of YouTube. What's going on, everybody? By the way, I got a new hat today. I should wear that while I paint. I'm gonna go wear my new hat while I paint. Got a new hat, new accessories. So I'm gonna do some painting in this hat. This was a gift, and I feel like I have to wear it. So why am I wearing a hat inside? There's no lights, but I choose to. So anyway, I'm asking this question right now on the live stream, and the title of this is the question: what would you make as artwork if you? Let me double check this title. What would you make if you weren't too scared to make it? That's the general idea of the title of this live stream. And the idea behind that, one thing that I usually spend a lot of time doing when, let me rephrase this. The most interesting thing I find about doing artwork, I really discovered this when I was preparing for my first marathon. 26.2, to run a 26.2 miler. I really had to ask myself to stay motivated. What am I scared of? When I was preparing for a marathon, I was constantly asking my question, what am I scared of? Why am I scared to, sign up to go 26.2 miles? And that was motivation enough for me when I was asking these questions, like, what am I afraid of? And you know what? I do want to preface this by saying, no one needs to run a marathon. It doesn't need to be a goal. I'm not trying to say that people who don't do marathons are scared, but I do want to say for myself, when I was trying to set my goal, I had to figure out what motivates me, what keeps me going, what would push me to the edge, to the next level of completing a marathon. And I realized that the main thing was a lot of fear. And I'm not talking about like cowering in a corner type of fear, but just mild fears that you don't realize. And maybe at some level I had to make myself believe that I was scared, so I pushed myself to do a marathon. But where this has really helped me in art, how physical fitness, how this idea of finishing a marathon has helped me in art, is this idea of really taking into consideration when making something. What are you scared to do? What are you scared to paint? Are you scared to to do something outrageous? Are you scared to make a painting that is weird? Are you scared to make a painting that maybe you feel like your neighbors might not approve of? I'm not saying to do something offensive or anything like that just for the sake of being offensive, but making art that maybe some part of you wants to create this thing, this idea, but maybe there's a financial fear, maybe there is a creative fear, maybe there's a fear of judgment, a fear of how it will be received. And I really realized when I finished my first marathon, that it was that fear of just signing up, that fear of training in the evenings or whatever, that was the biggest preventer of anything, I think, especially in the creative area, because there's no physical limitation really. You just got to get supplies or whatever. And the only thing that can prevent you from doing artwork that you want to do is fear. And I find that when I can, question myself and wonder, what is the fear? Or what am I scared to do? Because that is the thing that I must do. And again, it's not like cowering in a corner type of fear. It's not like, haha, scaredy cat kind of fear. It's more like, what am I worried about? What are my concerns about doing a bigger painting? What are my concerns? And when you can ask yourself that question, I think at some level it can help you create the piece of artwork that you've been meaning to create, but just have stopped yourself for whatever reason. So, Ashlyn Milan. Ashlyn, welcome. What's going on? Hello. We're going to do something a little different today. So this painting I'm going to put to the side in a few moments. But I did want to start this live stream with that question to guide this is, what's a style or a painting or sculpture creatively that you're scared to make for some unusual reason. And again, you know, you really have to dig down to figure out what you're really afraid of, right? Is it afraid of being considered imperfect? Is it afraid of being called a non-artist? Is it a fear of being a failure? Is it a fear of like trying but, you know, totally doing something that ends up going in a garbage can or something? And I think when we can figure out what it is that is stopping us, when we can address those fears, those self-limiting beliefs, limitations, that's when we can really uncover some of our personal interesting ideas. And with that, let me toss this in the garbage. Actually, I'm gonna put the canvas up first. Hold on one second here, people. So I'm gonna put this up right now. And by the way, I got this new hat as a gift today, so I feel inclined to wear it. Maybe I might wear it on all my live streams from here on out. I don't know. We'll see. But here we go. We're gonna start a painting here. What is up? What's up, Corey? How you doing, dude? I got a gift, a hat as a gift, and I felt the inclination to wear it today. So here we go. I'm gonna start painting, but this painting is gonna be different than my other paintings because I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. We're gonna do a tape painting, a hard edge painting, but it's gonna be an abstract hard edge where I design within the hard edges of our painting. So I will show here in a moment what we're gonna do, but let me lower this a little bit. I'll lower this just a little bit. Get our setup right here. Okay, that's cool, that's going. But yo, Mr. Karoshi, you're married. Hey, congratulations, Karoshi. Congratulations, you two wonderful human beings. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful 2025 and beyond. But yes, totally congratulations, everybody. Mr. Karoshi CR has just gotten married, so awesome. Time to celebrate a wonderful time. And Omizu, totally look forward to when we can figure out that time to set up to do our painting organization, our painting idea. But here we go. Let's throw some paint. Let's throw some tape up here. I'm gonna do. I don't usually do these this way. A hard edge painting. I don't usually like hard edge paintings that much, but I'm gonna do this one as a hard edge. Just because. Just love this idea of visual distraction. And let's see, I want to make this side longer. I want to make this longer, the outside longer than the inside. So the width of it longer than the length of it. So I don't need a full piece of tape for this one. I just need to bring this up. And let's see, we're going to go right here and make this longer. And I haven't actually tried this painter's tape yet, so we'll see. This actually came with, this painter's tape actually came with oil pastel. So I don't know if it was designed for oil pastel and not oil paints, but Belinda Gonzalez. What am I planting? Was I inspired by the gallery visits? Yes, definitely. I was definitely inspired by the recent visits to Bergamo Station, but not specifically with any idea there. I'm not using any specific idea that I got from there as much as it is, I think it's really great to just be in an environment with a ton of really successful artists whose work are being bought, artists whose work is selling for the price of cars, and to be in that environment and just to see the what's being made there, it's pretty inspiring in general. So I just want to say that I'm not necessarily taking any idea that I saw there from the other day, or AKA stealing like an artist. I'm not stealing any ideas. I'm not taking any ideas. I do believe that great artists steal, but I did totally feel inspired. So Michael Wilbur, what's up, dude? Put tick markers on my bonder. What do you mean? So I'm basically going to do my regular abstract work, but I'm going to do it in two parts. So I'm just going to explain this now. So I usually do my abstract work. Ooh, I breathed in a lot of mineral spirit fumes just now. So basically what I'm going to do, usually what I do with my abstract work is I paint it all as like one big piece. But for this one, I'm going to break them into these two sections right here, into one little rectangle and then a bigger rectangle. And we're just going to see how it comes about. So let me grab a little CAD red right here. I'm going to grab a nice CAD red. Steel, steel, steel. Yes. And I'm not going to make this perfectly aligned. I do like the idea that, sometimes things aren't always like perfectly lined up and stuff. So playing with that thesis. And let's grab some, you know what, I'm also going to use some of our burnt sienna for the purpose of having like a brown red here. So we're going to use our burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is basically considered a brown, like a neutral brown, but also like more towards red. I think that's the technical use of sienna is like, a brown, but it's also like a reddish brown rather than like an ochre brown. I consider it a reddish brown. Maybe not other people will. So let's see, I've got my reds, my green. Let me grab a nice blue here. Let me find a blue. And I'll definitely need a white. Oh, here we go. French ultramarine. Hey, should we select what the other person should paint? Yeah, Omizu. I'm not going to do that painting now because I have this idea. Unless you want to. I don't know. Do you want to do that? Or like, not necessarily selecting what we're painting, but brainstorming from the idea of something. Is that what do you want to do a live selection of that category now? Okay, let's wait. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it now and just start. But this would basically have to start with the idea, the premise, rather than, with this. But it would be great to do another live stream. Let's say if either this weekend or whenever we have time, pick a good you know what? Hey, let's do this. Why don't we each use a random generator or something? I'll send you a link, or you send me a link for a random idea generator, and we'll each pick 3 from that, and then we'll narrow it down from the 3, or maybe 2, so it's easier. So we each pick 2 ideas, like the first 2 ideas, and then we'll both narrow it down to 1, like 1 out of 4, and then I think pool and select from the pool. Yeah, let's wait. I've already started. My mind is already in a forward direction on this piece specifically. And you know, it's not necessarily like I'm not like planning this out, but I feel like my brain is racing in the direction of this piece. So I don't necessarily want to pull myself out, but definitely, I would definitely do a live stream if you have a specific idea that you want to tackle right now. Yes, let me know. Yeah, I am open. I'm flexible still. So until I lay my paint on the canvas and it, you know, we still have options. Well, all right. Okay. There's still options as to how we're going to proceed. So, you know, my brushes sound squeaky. You hear my brushes? You can hear my brushes? You know what color I don't have enough of? Yellow. Let me see. Let me find some more yellows. I need to buy like a couple of yellows sometime soon. Maybe I just use a lot of yellow. I don't know. There's my yellows. Okay, sounds good, Omizu. Alright, so I got a cad yellow. Here's a cad yellow light that I'm going to throw onto here. And as always, we need a nice white. The parakeet. Oh, my parakeet is always, she is always a squeaky parakeet. Squeaky, squeaky parakeet. Alright, let's find a good white here. My Gamblin white. Let's see. What I have? No. I got some white right here. And we're just getting started. So this tape is from Paul Rubens. I used Paul Rubens as a, I used Paul Rubens for oil pastels. And you know what? Let's see. So the other day I tried to use oil pastel on wet paint, but let's see if we can use oil pastel on you know, this canvas. I still don't think it's absorbent enough. Oil pastel works very difficult for oil pastel to work. But it has a lot of texture on it, so I'm just gonna see if this will even take anything from an oil pastel color. Let's see. Let's start with some of this yellow here in our oil pastel. Oh yeah, that's cool. All right. Combination of oil pastel and oil colors. I'm sure all it's going to do once I put the paint on is it's just going to blend all of the colors that are here already. So I don't really think that this is going to make much of a difference. Scaring the cats, cat. I just want to give a nice full amount of oil pastel here. Give a nice full amount of oil pastel, and we'll see how this goes. See, now we're painting like children right now. just the way like Pablo Picasso taught us, right? Paint like a child. And of course this is going to change once I actually start painting. But for now, you know, it is just interesting to start to do stuff and just start to like lay down colors and set a general direction, which the general direction is just to stay pretty improvisational, like not necessarily making anything. I'm not, you know, occasionally I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe this could be a face or this could be an eyeball, but I'm not like, hey, this whole thing is going to be a head and then, you know, the rest is going to be something else. But I am curious to see how oil pastel interacts with our paint here. So I am really curious about that. So let's see how oil pastel starts to interact with paint. Oh, I can see it makes a, it does create a texture. There's like a thickness to it. It does create like a roughness, which I don't know if it's good for my brushes, but we're just gonna work with it anyway. We're just gonna go with it, because why not? I don't necessarily know if it's good for my brushes to have oil pastel. Maybe it needs a little bit more oil. Let me bring out my... I had a tube of oil here yesterday. Oh no. Did it spill? Okay, perfect. It did not spill. So here's my little tube dropper. Tube dropper of mineral spirits, which are supposed to help thin paint. So I just use a little bit. I think this should just be enough just to lay directly on the canvas, just to give it an effect here. Just to thin it a bit. It is interesting because it creates a little bit of an extra blend of color right in the center. But you know, I don't see myself doing this regularly, because then I'm just like, why can't I just already blend, you know, these colors that already exist here? But I guess maybe, you know, just to create some extra interest, to use this combination of oil pastel. Using this combination can create all sorts of interesting design, I guess. So why not? We're gonna go with it, and let's just keep moving along here. What is the purpose of this painting? You know, I'm asking myself, one of the questions that I ask myself while I'm doing this is like, you know, am I scared of making a painting that looks like a 5-year-old was just sitting here sketching on a wall? I think I am scared. I am. How many adults would feel uncomfortable doing a live stream and making a painting that is so primitive, so childish, that it looks like this? How many adults would feel very, very scared to do that? Me, right? Like, it's like, why would you do that? I don't know. Like, I'm raising my hand. We all want to like, you know, have a very specific and cool style. So here we go. You know, and it's me knowing that that's something that makes me feel mildly uncomfortable, that I do it. And then, you know, of course, you know, it changes and it looks like more adult-like, but you know, a lot of exploration here. So, thought my canvas was moving, but is your dog pushing the phone? Picasquiat. Picasquiat, yes, right on. Yeah, Picasquiat, there we go. Yes. The good old interlude. Alexa, what is the definition of interlude?
An interlude is an intervening episode or period that interrupts or stops something from happening.
Oh.
The word interlude can also be used to describe a short musical composition that is...
Alexa, off. All right, so I don't think interlude is the word I'm looking for. The intersection between Picasso and Basquiat, right? Just, you know, I think the only person that could be the intersection between Picasso and Basquiat is Basquiat, because Basquiat was heavily inspired by Picasso, and he became Basquiat. So it's like, you know, can you even have an intersection between Picasso and Basquiat? It's like, that's just like saying it's just Basquiat, like, right? It's basically Basquiat. He is the intersection between Picasso and Basquiat. A Picasquiat. I don't know. How would a Picasquiat be different from just a Basquiat himself? Basquiat, the man himself. How would it be any different? Pasco, and then what's up, Don Drill? Yes, right on. How are you? From bottom left to upper corner, and then let's go like this. I can see this being a really interesting painting style if I go like much bigger, like a huge canvas. But I think it's nice to experiment with this idea right now on this canvas right here. It's a good size. Someone told me of a great book that Basquiat used for symbolism, and I feel like I need to look at that. Because supposedly there was one book that Basquiat used to pull like many of his symbols from. And I don't know the name of that book. It's like the Book of Symbols or something like that. And I feel like I need to get that book. Or another book like it and just like include my own symbolism. But here's the funny thing, like, you know, I like to imagine Basquiat as like this man who just walked around the room and just made up all of these symbols in his head and these ideas, which he probably did. But I also would not, you know, doubt that he probably sat down, studied symbolism a lot. And because of that, he had this huge library of like symbolic meanings and information and things that, you know, meant something to someone who knew what it meant. And, you know, that just filled his visual library that he had so much to work with. Not so much that he made up the symbols totally from scratch himself. What's new? I've noticed that I, just like you, get so used to using detailed brushes. Oh, these smaller brushes? Well, like, this is a small canvas, honestly. It's only 20 by 24. It's a 20 by 24 canvas. So I really don't have that much space to really mess around with on here. So on these smaller canvases, I take a little bit more time to do some of these abstractions, even though I could probably do them pretty quickly with a bigger brush. Which reminds me, you know, maybe I'll up my size a bit more. Let's go up a size. Let's use a big brush because of this commentary that I'm receiving. Pookie, if you come near this painting, I will show you my elbow ever so gently. But you know, a real flex would be if someone like did a painting like Pookie. She keeps sniffing the canvas. Hook it. Yeah. Get myself a good 4-inch brush. It covers well. You know what? I am enjoying this intersection right here, especially right here. This intersection of colors between our oil pastel and our actual oil paints themselves, because they show through but I don't know if it's because my oil pastel or the paint that I use is actually a more transparent color, or if it's because that's just how it is. Who's here today? We're gonna do initials DOM for DOC for Dondrell, Omizu Corey, DCM. So DCM, we're gonna put the word DCM.
Hi, who wants a treat?
DCM here for Dondrell, Corey,
Oh no, I get your calendar.
and
Here. Oh, you're not gonna play with these because
and Michael here.
Right here. Right here. Who wants a treat?
DCM. And then if anyone ever wonders what the heck is DCM, we all know here right now. Dondrell, Corey, Michael.
Where's Pookie? Here, Scout.
For being on this canvas right now.
Come here. Come here.
Yeah, this is my secret shout out to the wonderful people that are on this live stream. And secret shout out here. Let's do some more materials here. Let's just mess around with some more materials here. We're gonna go with a nice yellow. Choose this yellow right here. I'm just gonna use our fingers. Just go paint right into here. Oh, this is covering it. I don't really want to cover it, but I'll repaint that D afterwards. Oh, you know what? If I spread the yellow enough, I can actually see it underneath. And I really like that you can see it underneath because it's like, did I try to cover it up? What happened to it? Did I try to cover it up? Did the artist try to cover it up? Who is DCM? It looks like it's a secret. Looks like it's a secret, a mystery.
Why did you dig your claws into me like that?
Who are DCM? The mystery for eternity.
Guess I'm not gonna
Yeah.
dig Pookie's claws. Come here, Pookie.
Mizu and I,
Come here.
Corey, are gonna have a paint battle. Yes, we will. We're planning a paint battle here in a couple days. We don't have a day set yet,
Come here.
but we will definitely
Come here.
inform everybody
Struggle. I'm trying to give you treats.
when the time comes. So here we go. Let's grab this paint.
Come on, right here.
We're gonna go. I really love the how some of these old pastels are showing up underneath. Let's see. Let's do
Crowley.
some of this light green here,
Here.
and we're just gonna go into here.
Oh my God. She's being a monster. Scout, haven't you so much more
Everybody loves symbols. And I'm gonna paint over this again. Let's see. Let me see if I could highlight this just a little bit more. I don't want it to disappear, but I don't want it to be too obvious. Still want people to be curious, like, is that on purpose? What is DCM? Is that Roman numerals? Alexa, what is the Roman numeral DCM?
The Roman numeral DCM is the equivalent of 600 in the modern numerical system.
Ah, so this is actually 600. People will be wondering, what is 600? Haha, not really bad. We live forever. He's going to extract you into the dirt. You know what's cool that some artists are doing now, though? They're buying, like, really... Ooh, I got all this paint on me. They're buying, like, really cheap art from Goodwill, and then they're painting over it, which I find kind of amusing. But yeah, hey, nothing wrong with your art going to a Goodwill. There was a very famous sculpture that was found in a Goodwill that was donated to a Goodwill. You never know what you'll find in a Goodwill. There's a lot of great things in a Goodwill. I would not be upset if in 200 years someone found one of my art pieces in a Goodwill. That would be amazing, actually, if my art was still surviving in 500 years at a Goodwill. Now, here's a real question. We'll probably find it in a Goodwill, but will it survive more than 100 years? Probably not, but you know what? nothing is forever. Except for the greatest artists who ever lived. Cheaper than Michael's. Yeah. Alright, so I want to bring in some more bold colors here. I want to be a little bolder with some of these colors. I'm being a little timid just because of the space. It's so hard to like work exciting abstract pieces into a small space like this.
Prowling.
It's not hard, it's just like, you know, to add a lot of ideas and to make them have like the impact really comes from a good sized canvas. And this is a good sized canvas. It's just not the not the most ideal. So let's just keep going around. We're gonna grab a ochre here. We're gonna continue.
We're gonna do these nails later. She's very growly.
She's a growly cat, yeah.
Yeah. We need to do it later. When she's done.
I don't even know what this is. Here we go. What's going on? And I want to grab a brush that I can actually spread some of this paint. Spread it rather than just brush it. So you can tell some brushes are really good at brushing the paint, like this one, and some brushes, this one, sadly, I've been very mean to it. I have not been very nice to this brush, so a lot of the tips of the brushes have started to stick together, and thus it creates this like streakiness, which can be good, you know, every once in a while, but this brush is not the same as it was when I first got it, whereas this brush I can actually still use to like spread paint in a nice, even, smooth way. Like if you decide a year after you're dead, at the Goodwill, put your painting down and look at frames. Painting was gone. A lady had it up at the cashier asking a price. Isn't that amazing? Wait, this sells the cashier for the money. That's funny. All right. So there you go. Some sales strategies going on here. It's a good time to talk sales strategies. So sales strategies. Did you know that free can be a sales strategy? So one time I was sketching in a hotel lobby, and this guy had come up to me at the beginning as I was sketching, and he's like, "Hey man, what are you drawing?" And I was just like having conversation with him at first, and then he like went away for a little bit to drink and to go talk to people. And then when I left, as I was leaving, I had a sketch, and I was like, "Hey man, you want this? Here you go. You could just have it." And he's like, "No, dude, you gotta let me pay you for it. You gotta let me pay you." And he gave me about $70 for just one sketch, just from sitting in the hotel lobby sketching. So that's really interesting. Free can be a strategy, people. Again, that was like just one random off situation. I don't think it's the most viable strategy. You don't always want to give your stuff away for free. But just that one night, I had a good conversation with that guy. I've definitely had situations where I gave stuff away for free, and you know, it's totally just a gift. But yeah, there's something to pick up there, right? I'm sure we can all learn something from that. It's free a strategy. It's free a viable strategy in that situation. Yeah, why not? Does anybody else want to share an interesting way that they sold a painting? I know Michael has shared one where he laid a painting down at a Goodwill and somebody grabbed it and brought it to the front. That's an interesting story. Let's talk some business here. Have a business talk. That could be very helpful. Who doesn't love a good business talk? Oh, you know what? I've used such dark colors right now. I guess it will create some good contrast here. And let's see where this goes. I'm gonna go expand on this and just go with let's go with a nice blue here, our blue-green, mixing our ultramarine with our green, this green right here. Am I familiar with an exquisite corpse? No, I'm not. Is that a band? Exquisite Corpse? That sounds like a band. Sounds like a band I would listen to in middle school. Which, specifically for me, my middle school days were my metal. I used to listen to a lot of metal in middle school. Oh, by the way, everybody, yesterday I was trying to figure out the name of the guy who's credited with the creation of Cubism along with Pablo Picasso. Nobody was able to answer, but I found out the answer. George Braque. George, B-R-A-Q-U-E, is the person that I was trying to think of the name for, is George Braque. He is the other person, the lesser well-known figure that is credited with the founding of the wonderful art of Cubism, the wonderful style of Cubism. So let's go grab a nice blue here. We're just gonna go. This really is very cubist in its own way, right? Got some cubist elements. These separated designs. One of my favorite Picasso paintings that I've seen in person was done with crayon. He literally did it with crayon. Brilliant. And here's the question. Here's a question for adult artists. Do you have to have the notoriety, the fame of a Pablo Picasso to work with crayon? Yes or no? That should be a polling question, but just fun for discussion. So Michael says, sometimes when you're at a state sale, you have time, you'll paint by the van. People buy them, they have money for sales, which you resell, then turn into property. That's cool. Nothing that dramatic. George Braque, B-R-A-Q-U-E. That's it. You like the way colors blend. Good art has a brain of a child. Wow. Riddle me this. So did you get any nails from Pookie done, Kat? Yeah. Did you get any of Pookie's nails?
No.
Huh?
Too growly.
Growly or scratchy?
Both.
Sedated?
Yes, basically. CBD or something. No, Scott was easy.
Yeah, Scout's really chill boy. He's a chill boy. The best around. In case you haven't realized, Kat.
I think he is the best. He's great.
So I'm trying to I think I should use less paint when I'm working with oil pastels underneath, because what happens is the paint, if I brush it up too much, it kind of gets rid of the underlying oil pastel underneath. But I want it to show through, but I don't want it to show through too much. Just these subtle regions. You know what? Let me grab another oil pastel. That is one cool thing about oil pastel that I'm realizing now is I can actually make marks underneath And as long as I'm using a nice thin layer of paint on top of it, I can pretty much just paint on top of it, and you can see all of these interesting marks underneath the tube. Let me write the tube. T-H-E, the tube. T-U-B-E. Let me see how this goes. Michael, question: do I use the same size canvas? No, I do not. But I do what I do, and this is just a personal thing that I've made, a personal choice that I've made. Is I started painting with these little four by six. Is this 4x6? 4x6? Yeah, it looks about 4x6 canvases. And you know, I'll do like maybe a dozen, anywhere between like 10 to 20 of them. And then I graduated up to like the next standard size. I think this isn't the next standard size, but this is just an example, you know, of like the sizes. And as I continue to go up, you know, I'm probably gonna go one more size up after this. This is 20 by 24. I'll probably do a lot more 16 to 20 by 24s, but eventually I will bring this much higher to like, you know, bigger spaces if I can. I don't know how I'm gonna figure that out space-wise, but I will. Maybe I just can't, you know, hold lots of paintings. I have to figure out how to get rid of them much faster. But let's add a little bit of mineral spirit, shall we? Let's see. Let's add some spirits here. It'll drop there. It'll drop there just to loosen up the paint a little bit. It'll drop here. And let's get some of this blue-green. And I think what we can do is we gotta like create a thin layer, like a really thin layer. Here we go. This is a thin layer that helps to allow what's underneath to shine through. You can't do this with regular wet oil paint because the regular wet oil paint is literally just going to mix the color if it's wet. But if you're using some of these oil pastels, if you mix up with the oil pastels, what you can do is, I think the oil pastels allow you to see what's underneath a little bit. Not much, but just enough to keep it interesting. Gold gilded from Mr. Paints makes it a little easier. Some black between the yellow and the light green. Yeah, you think so? You think it needs some black? Let's do it. Let's do some black here. Audience choice. This is the creative act, the multi-creative act here. Multi-creative act. Oh yeah, this is creating a some new layers here. This black, I like it. This is creating some new dimensions and layers of a look. Yeah, good idea. You know, I was just thinking yesterday, like I didn't really want to use black at the beginning to like sketch out my design, but I did say yesterday that I wanted to use black after I've already laid down the majority of color to create like design. So good reminder. I don't know if I would have remembered that at the end of this. Maybe. I like to believe that I would remember stuff, but I don't know for sure. You never know what you'll forget. Let's see, what could go in here? Let's draw a little house. A couple squares. Just draw some squares. No house, just a couple of squares. To make people wonder, what is that? All right. Let me get a nice, let's go down here. having too much fun doing this. Where will something like this lead? I don't know. Lead to new friends, new internet, YouTube friends, YouTube internet friends. That's good enough, right? So 20 by 24 for your battle. So I was thinking about sticking with 16 by 20 because I don't have any 20 by 24 wood canvases. So all I have right now I have canvas panels in 20 by 24, but as far as canvases with the wood backings, all I have are these 16 by 20s. So, it's up to you. If you want to do 20 by 24, I'm happy to do this. I just don't know if I'm going to go pick up, if I really want to pick up 20 by 24, the wood, these canvases right now. But I'm happy to just paint on a regular canvas one of these canvas panels, and if you want to do that, I don't know what materials you're using, but I had these ready for such an occasion. So up to you. Either 16 by 20, I'm probably use like a full canvas, or a 20 by 24 on a panel, which is all I have right now is panels for 20 by 24s. But also, it's one of those things, up to you. Personal, whatever your choice is, I'm happy with either. Definitely also good to think about shipping. I know every few inches that a shipping container increases, it's like an extra. I mean, it's going to be more, so it's up to you. 16 by 20, I think, is a great size, but if you want to do 20 by 24, I'm happy to do that too. Yeah, so, up to you. I'm happy to do either one. 20 by 24. I've shipped 16 by 20 before. Let's just grab some of our yellow, mix it in with our white right here. I want to get like a really clear white, like a transparent white. And let's just go right into here. And we're just going to go like a really nice thin layer on top of all of this. And I want to create this like sensation that there's something underneath, but at the same time, I chose to like brush over it. So you don't really know what that underneath is. That's one thing I've always loved about like Basquiat's paintings is like I don't know how he does it, but he's just like so good at painting over things and making the paint over look so cool. Like even if he was just to paint like a giant paint over right here, just a flat color, and just make it like black, somehow it would look brilliant. I don't know. There's just some people that can do that really well. Or maybe, it's the combination of all of his pieces. But, I think expressionists in general, from, a lot of the artists from like the 80s are just really good at messing stuff up and like making it a fun process. Expressionists, I guess, that's such a wrong term to use, messing stuff up, but maybe that's the right term. I don't know. They're just so good. I love expressionism. Expressionism as an artist is the ultimate free form. maybe somewhere here I'll have to draw a flower, a rose or something. Like every rose has its thorns. Here we go. So chaos. Oh yeah, picture with them. Let me get rid of these. These are kind of distracting, aren't they? Actually, no, let me just leave these up. Why not? Let me just leave some of my older paintings up just for the heck of it. Here we go. What do we do? What are we gonna do? Let's contrast our green here. Green with our red. Just gonna go right in here. A little of this green contrast. So I binge watched a TV show last night. I watched the entire season of Dexter Dexter New Blood all last night. I think the show was really good. There was a couple episodes that dragged the season, but overall it was a fun and exciting season. Any fans of Dexter out there? One of my favorite shows of all time. I think it's like the perfect combination of like mystery, like detective mystery problem solving, but you always know that there's like this suspensefulness because there's like a double agent involved in the agency, and there's like murder and survival and relationships and vengeance. There's like all these powerful concepts in the show Dexter that it's so compelling. And it's like the only show that makes a serial killer likable. Which, that sounds so dark, but like, it's, you gotta admit, Dexter is a likable serial killer. But that's only because he kills bad guys, and that is not that's not a spoiler. That's the entire premise of the show, is that Dexter is a serial killer that kills bad people. But of course, that makes him such a likable person. And I often wonder, like, if there was a serial killer who killed bad guys, like, I really wonder how that would play out in real life. But who knows? So paint chaos, less thinking, more throwing paint. Wilbur, are you calling me out? Am I being too much of a painting wimp right now? I feel like I am, but I can't really, like... Can I just throw the paint? Let me see, I gotta find a tool. Let me find a tool. I want to do this strategically. The more and more I look at like really great artists who seem to just throw paint or smudge paint or whatever, I think that there is a method to their process that goes beyond just like randomly throwing it. Or maybe not. Pookie, go, go, go. Okay, I love this area of white. And we're going to mix it with grab some blue here. And just go. I covered the tube. It's up to the viewer to determine. It's up to the viewer to determine what. Yeah, I'm totally down for that. I'm usually down for that. You know, except for someone who's like, hey, can you paint my dog? But, you know, if you give out some good creative ideas, I'm totally down and flexible. You know, that's why it's so great to have all of you around. You know, Omizu often gives some great ideas. And I find it so interesting. I used to be like the super stubborn guy, like everything, you know, I gotta come up with my own ideas, and you know, I can't like take ideas and whatever. But the more and more like I learn about art, you know, all great art comes from other ideas, like a combination of just concepts brought together from all over. And let's see. Here we go. Let's try to make this. Let's give this a little bit of some definition, something to like, you know, make the eye think that this is more than just a mess. So we need to create some shapes. That's all you really need, is to create some shapes that just that grab the eye's attention, even if they're, you know, there's a couple of recognizable things here, such as a face. Or an eyeball. And there must be something else. Let me see what else there is. Feel the paint coming through my glove right now. This has black on it. I want red. Want some reds. Oh, that's good. Let me grab another brush. Here we go. Let's grab some reds. The rest of the board, we will see. You will see what will happen to the rest of the board here. We're going to start the rest of the board in just a few moments. So in just a few moments, we will begin. So stay tuned for the rest of the board after this brief commercial. After this brief commercial break. This video is sponsored by Emmett Ferguson, Gogh Creative, with a special message for do good things. Help someone today. Be nice to someone on the internet or off the internet. That is the sponsored message of the day. And make sure to tip your waiters if they provide great service. I mean, I'm of the philosophy that I tip pretty much no matter what. Usually I try to give the benefit of the doubt, but you know, I even realize, even when I know that I'm giving the benefit of the doubt and the waiter kind of sucks, I still tip pretty well. Which I know that's like a toxic trait of mine, I think, because you know, it does in one hand let people get away with things that they think they could just, you know, provide crappy service and still get tips. But at the other side, I also think that sometimes the reason why that attitude even comes about is because they've been getting bad tips all day. So, you know, I guess it's a double-edged sword. I try to be the person that tries to cheer people up, but at the end of the day, that is my tipping philosophy. I usually tip pretty good, even if the service is, you know, not the best. But again, I guess I try to give people the benefit of being a fellow human being who's looking to thrive. So I don't know, what is there, anybody else got thoughts on tipping? What about the rest of the board? No tips, you earn tips. There you go. You earn tips. All right. So that is Michael Wilbur's philosophy, and it is totally valid. It is the most valid philosophy just because. I want to go around this black area here. Just go leave little specks of yellow. And I think there should always be some sort of flower or a rose somewhere, just so you have something recognizable. So I always like to add some sort of flower. Not always. I use that term a lot. But when I remember, often try to add something recognizable. What does this painting really represent? What is this? What is my exploration? What am I exploring? This concept, this painting is an exploration of the improvised mind. Pure creativity, with every moment, every brushstroke being this unplanned, just connection to what my mind wants to do versus what. All right, who's ready for the reveal? Say I. You don't have to say anything. Don't worry, because we're gonna do it anyway. I'm not gonna wait for people to tell me I before I can pull off this tape. So here we go. Yay! Let's do this. And we could just make this painting a painting itself. This is its own wall. This is like a beautiful white wall for our canvas here. Ah, magic. Look at that. All right. Now here's where things get a little tough. So I'm the type of person that doesn't really like to wait for things to dry. And I'm trying to decide here. I don't necessarily know yet whether I should just start painting around it or whether I should just let it dry first and then start painting around it. I don't know. I'm probably just gonna start painting around it. Keep this free-flowing, mistakes are acceptable nature, and maybe some point in the future I could probably just do one where the sides are. Really, you think I should let it dry first? Leave the tape. Now it's running. It's not running. It's okay. This is not running. This paint's not gonna run. It's oil paint. Oh, decisions. See, this is like Schrodinger's cat, right? in one universe, one alternative universe, I do wait for this to dry and I put tape on it, and then I use the tape to make sure that no paint interferes with each painting. The other side of me, the other Schrodinger's cat, goes with a totally messy design and allowing some of it to just kind of make its way into here. Whatever shall I do? No paint now? But Michael, it's so tempting. All right, hey Michael, let's do a. You would have gone all the way to the edge, then put a border on white. All right, let's play. We're gonna flip a coin, Michael, and you're gonna call it. So Michael, we're gonna flip a coin. I've got a normal quarter right here. Oops. With heads, so you get to make the choice. With heads, or I don't know. Oh yeah, you're gonna call it now. Heads. If it lands on heads, I'm going to. I don't know how to do this. Because I'm trying to think. If I call it on heads, if I say heads, then I wait for it to dry. Okay, so we're going to make a decision right now. Either I'm going to wait for this to dry or I'm not going to wait for it to dry. But I don't know how to make it work. So heads. But I want, Michael, I'd like your participation somehow. So how do we make this so you get to have a say in how this quarter rolls? Which side is dry? Michael, you don't like to play flip a quarter, do you? All right. So, Michael, which side is the side where I let it dry? Heads or tails? If I let it dry, I'm going to finish this painting now, and I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to paint on top of it after I could put tape over it. So which side is... Heads is the side that I let it dry. So heads is where I'm going to let it dry, and which means we're going to come back to this in a couple of days to work on. And then tails is paint. Heads is paint now? Is that what you're saying? Heads is paint now, right? Is that correct, or... Heads paint now. Okay, never mind. Heads paint now. What is it? Oh, heads. It's heads. So we're going to paint now. Okay. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it, people. Oh my goodness. Hey, you guys, I'm just going to show you the most like precious little thing right now. Oh, no, never mind. He's not cute right now. He was cute a moment ago, just like sleeping with his head up, my cat. But he's not doing it anymore. He's just laying down. So it's not as cute. But let's go into this. Let's start. I really am afraid to like break the border because I think the border creates such a powerful visual impact. But let's just start with the little rolling device. Let's just start by rolling white all the way around. Just gonna roll some white all the way around. Whatever is on this, I haven't gotten the technique down yet. You know, what if I do this whole thing just rolling a sponge across? I don't know if I'll be able to keep the neatness of the edge, though. I might not be able to. Yes, people, this is this is one of those interactive art streams where all of you have an opportunity to interact at some point. Maybe not right now, maybe not today, maybe not when there's a line and you're not in the line, but at some point, if you're here long enough or often enough, there is some level. I consider myself an interactive live streamer. At least that's how I used to build my brand. But then I started getting way too many people on my live streams. This was on TikTok. TikTok, it is so easy to build a large audience. So on my TikTok, I would have too many people, and I found it really difficult to both paint and be interactive. So I think when it comes to artwork, you know, it does help to find that balance between connecting with people and making art. So there's a fine balance here. So let's go. Let me go with the black line. Black is always a good line here. Here we go. We need to break up the space a bit. And there's going to be a really fine craft to trying to paint around this. You know what? I could just add a bunch of black lines that come from around our piece just to start. I don't want to take the easy way out. I feel like the easy way out is what I'm doing right now. And that's like trying to make just like this perfect little line right now. Using like black. Just the easy way, right? Like it's easy in a sense that it's like not the challenging way. I like to do things the hard way. I don't know why. I just do. Why do I like to do things the hard way? Somebody help me. Somebody teach me to do things the easy way. Front or rear window? What? Is this a window into the soul? Yes, it is. This is all my paintings are a window to my soul. Placed on a stick, loving more color and paint on the sponge. The black wiggles make the painting. It's only 532 tapes. Front or rear window? Front or rear window? Definitely the front. You know what, we're gonna create this illusion of like a black frame here. So you know what, I might as well create an illusion of a black frame around this area. Actually, screw the black paint. We're gonna go with a different color for that frame that I was just mentioning just now. How do I want to do the frame? What brush shall I use? Oh my gosh, there's so much oil paint around me right now. So much mineral spirit smell. I am breathing it in. I can only imagine the old school painters who first started using turpentine for the first time and just breathing that in and not realizing how bad it is for you. So I'm going to create a nice like red border. It's going to look like the red is like creating like a square or some sort of rectangle. Or you know what? I like the contrast, so I'm going to do that actually up here instead. Need something to balance my arm here. There we go. So one trick I use, the top little knob here, I use this as a way to stop my ruler from moving around too much. It's not ideal. The ideal would just be to have a nice big wall that I can just lean a stick against. But I like to improvise. I like to use tools that are not always the norm. To take deep breaths, I have to step away because the paint smell is just so strong, so powerful. You know, it's not that strong or powerful. That's an exaggeration, but I do notice it, and it does bother me a little bit. I want to make that even bigger. A little bit more towards this side. So I'm going to call this area the red frame, red square frame. Okay, what's been happening in conversation? I've been missing the conversation here. Good frame, color purple. Where's the 1-inch brush for that border? There's no 1-inch brush. I don't think I have a 1-inch brush. I have a good, this filbert, but it's so stiff. I don't feel like having to renew this. Actually, you know what? Let me just do it right now. Now that we're talking about it. Now that I've picked it up and it's in my hand, I might as well just do it. So I'm gonna spend a little time to take care of a brush right now. I think what I should do is I should loosen it up a little bit first with our, let's do some mineral spirit action here. I think mineral spirit is really good at breaking up paint. Or breaking up oil paint at least. And did anybody see what I just did with that tool? Where did I put it? When I put stuff down, I tend to forget where I put it. Here we go. Still better than the museum. So I'm just using the metal part of this brush to like really get into the bristles and like scratch off the paint on the bristles. And I'm letting the brush go the opposite way of me. I'm pulling this toward me because I want the paint to, if there's any paint coming off of this, I want it to fling the other way, not toward me. I get wet right up in it, right up in it. I don't really care about this brush anymore because it's already, I do not care about this brush no more. It's already gotten ruined, so I don't mind just jacking it up some more. Use these metal points to just separate some of the areas that might have gone missing here. And you know what? Good call, Michael. I do have this 1-inch brush, and it's probably a good time to use a bigger brush because it'll create this like sense of dimension. We're gonna have this like large sense of dimension between, between our two paintings, where I was using a small brush for that, and then now we get this opportunity to see a bigger brush. Sparkling. Dude, Michael, when are you gonna buy one of my paintings one day? They are for sale. Or you could be my curator and sell paintings. Sell my paintings. Work in the Michael Wilbur Gallery of Fine Art, featuring a solo show by Emmett Ferguson. All right, so look, it's revived. The things are separated. I do feel like I could spend some extra time just scraping away. I could do this for a long time, by the way. Just scraping away, trying to separate these brushes and everything. But here we go. It's gotten renewed some of its texture a little bit. So let's get started with this. Let's go boom, 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 bada boom, 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 boom. Let's go bring some yellow with this blue here. So these are just mineral spirits, odorless mineral spirits. It helps to spread the paint. Helps me to loosen up the paint to spread it a bit better. And then somewhere along the way, I do want to create a more pure yellow. But for now, let's go bring some of this yellow into our red here. Just create some little streaks of competing colors. Just some of the red, the yellow into the red. And then what I want to do here is I want to take this, I want to go grab this yellow, just grab a bunch of colors. It's like a schnabel. Schnabel? Am I pronouncing that right? Schnabel? It's like a schnabel. Schnabel. I don't know Schnabel. I feel like I should know him. Schnabel. How long would I say it takes me to create a painting? Michael Orber, that's a great question. It depends. So obviously if I painted a painting this size, I don't know what size this is. I didn't measure it out. But that would take me about an hour and 15 minutes. But this overall whole painting, I think, every few square inches that it adds, I think every 10 square inches probably takes me 50% longer. When I painted paintings of this size and smaller, I used to just be able to knock them out. I used to be like paint them and be like, "Whoa, I'm such a fast painter." But especially for abstract stuff, I think when you do the abstract stuff, it really the size of the canvas can really totally change how fast you can paint, obviously, right? Like, if that's not obvious enough. You know what I want to do is I want to rotate this. I'm going to do the old rotation-aroo. Rotate-aroo. And let's go with this top part. Oh, rotate-aroo. Let's see, I want to paint into here. There's some white space there that I don't like. Not a big fan of little white spaces in my paintings. Bigger canvas, bigger brush. Yes, that's right. I should be using a bigger brush. But there is, you know, I guess I mix between the different brush sizes of both large and small. But here's what I want to do. I want to create a line here. I want to create a thing that's a circle. Create a red line circle here. Am I blocking the view? No, I'm not blocking the view. Does that look like a perfect circle hidden behind a painting? No, it doesn't, because it's not a perfect circle. But I can pretend like it is. But that doesn't make it so. So here we go. Let's go. Boom. It's all starting to come along. Give you $1 million idea so we can play. 4 in 1 brush. Make puzzles. Bigger canvas, bigger brush. Yeah, that's right. Ooh, how cool would this be if we started to do little rings of circles here? Let's do one with a little bit of yellow. I'm gonna change up the ring color in here just a little bit. Give me $4 million. Did you say a $4 million idea? I'll take $1 million idea. You got $1 million idea. Send them my way. No NDAs, of course. Come on, people. Who needs an NDA? Just kidding. You should always speak to a lawyer when it comes to protecting your intellectual property. Not a fake lawyer, a real lawyer. I learned this while reading this technique that I'm using right now. It's called using a lot of paint. I learned this technique from Vincent van Gogh. So in his letters, in some of the books that talk about Vincent, some of the criticisms, the early criticisms that Vincent's brother had regarding Vincent's work. So Theo, Vincent van Gogh's brother, would often criticize Vincent for using way too much paint. Look at it, it's got like a little belly, it's an outie belly button right there. I almost want to keep that, but I'm afraid it's gonna like fall off. So it's a cute little outie belly button on this thing. But yeah, one of the criticisms Vincent's brother gave to him was that he used way too much paint. And although that's not like, that doesn't seem like a problem today, definitely back then, you know, before, just as the Impressionists were starting to build a reputation in society, forging a new path for artists for the rest of eternity, you know, it was not as common of a thing to just slobber paint onto a canvas indiscriminately. Which way is up? Nobody knows. Which way is down? Nobody knows. Only I know, but even I don't know. So rotating easel, rotate please. Don't Van Gogh never sold a painting while he was still alive? So, you know, I think that's a myth. I think it's a myth that Van Gogh only ever sold one painting. I think it's a myth that was created to try to make a story seem more dramatic than it really was. And you know, he did have a dramatic story, but I think it's a myth. Because not only did Vincent trade a lot of work, but he was gonna have a really major solo show by the time he died. And he traded lots of artwork for like, he bartered with his artwork a lot, which Salvador Dali also did. And you know what? I can't say I've ever bartered with artwork. I've never been like, hey, I'll trade you my art piece for a t-shirt. I've actually never tried that. I don't know if I would be successful at that, but you know, if you think about it, how many people can say that they've actually bartered with their artwork? More people probably trade it for money, but you know, I think the fact that Van Gogh bartered with his artwork is more of a challenge than just selling it itself. There's a financial value attached to that. So just accepting that fact alone, I think, is enough to discredit this idea that Vincent van Gogh never sold a painting, or never, you know, only sold one painting. Now there is other news that says he sold at least two, but at the end of the day, I don't believe that he was an artist who was really had a very difficult time finding people that wanted his artwork. Let me rephrase that. He did struggle with finding people that liked his artwork. He was not a very liked guy during his time. A lot of people made fun of him. People thought he was weird. He was also like not a very nice guy. Like he would get into fights with people. So he didn't have a likable personality. Even his brother, you know, had issues with him. So that said, I don't think he sold a lot of work, but I definitely think he sold more than 2. And I want to include bartering his artwork. I want to count that as selling artwork, and he did that quite a lot. But you know, I know nobody wants to hear a change of a story that they believed in for so long, but that's my interpretation. I'm probably totally wrong though. You know, I mean, who am I to argue with some of society's greatest art historians who have studied him their entire life, who are actually saying that he's only ever sold 1 painting? Who might argue with that? But I am of the belief that I would like to actually count his barters as a sale, and because of that, he actually sold quite a few. Wow. Oh, hey, dude. All right. Well, thanks so much for Corey for sharing the wonderful super. I guess it's time to rotate. I think he was requesting a rotation, so let's do it. Let's do a rotation here. Let's do a nice little rotation. Well, this was how we had it at the beginning, so let's just flip it upside down. Another vertical pose here. And here's the other thing, like Van Gogh, people like hired him. He actually had a guy who was, I don't know if he was paying him or whatever, that was requesting, I think they were trading art supplies for sketches. So Van Gogh was trading art supplies for sketches. For his sketches. People were buying his sketches or hiring him to do sketches, which I think speaks a lot to, adds to this lore, or adds to the story or the truth of whether he sold paintings or not. I'm pretty sure he sold a bunch. I refuse to believe that Van Gogh had a hard time, you know. I just refuse to believe it. And I think some of it was definitely, you know, just kept the myth for obvious reasons. You know, I think the idea that Van Gogh only sold 1 painting actually helps him sell more paintings when he's dead, you know? So let's go. Well, maybe my inner child did get a hold of my brushes. Maybe this is my inner child trying to speak. grab our yellow. It's going to go right into here. Oh my goodness, I'm already out of yellow. Out of yellow again. So much yellow. I'm going to use another yellow this time. This is just going to be a regular cad yellow pale hue. Let's see, what's another color I need before I like... What's another color I should grab? No, I think this yellow is good. I think it just needs some mineral spirit. Let me drip a little bit of this so I can... I want to put it on a canvas, or rather than dripping on canvas, I'm gonna pull it from our material here. Phthalo blue. You know what? I don't think I have phthalo blue. I have phthalo green. Let me see if I have phthalo blue. That's actually a good color choice. Let me see. Phthalo. Cad green. Cad blue. Viridian. You know what? I can't find a phthalo blue, but I did buy this beautiful cerulean blue the other day. Let's pop this open. A cerulean blue, and I'll add my viridian hue here. So I got a viridian and a cerulean blue that we're about to lay down. Nice, beautiful cerulean blue. First drops of the wettest. My goodness. And again, thanks, Corey, for the wonderful donation to the channel. Don't be tiptoeing. Am I tiptoeing in this painting? Am I being too delicate? I think I mean I am, but you know, it's for a reason. Like I want to just make this. See, here's the thing. Like I feel like there's a Jackson Pollock-esque form of chaos, or controlled chaos, where it's like, you know, it's just thrown on. But then there's like this mental chaos that happens in my mind, where I'm constantly being pulled in like 100 different directions. And rather than just throwing it all onto canvas in big, huge strokes, it's just all these little bits and pieces that I just keep adding on. And I think that's the chaos, the mental chaos that I'm working on capturing right now, as opposed to just large, massive transformations to the canvas. So, but I think eventually I will do something. You know, I will go bigger. We'll go bigger. I will do less tiptoeing here in a few moments. This is the exploration of the human mind like none other. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. Who likes the Twilight Zone? That was one of my favorite shows growing up as a as a young human being. Still young, but one of my favorite shows of all time is The Twilight Zone. Is that the little one? Dante Inferno? You picked up a book today at the swap meet called Leonardo, The Complete Paintings by Taschen, Dante Inferno. Is that the little one? Taschen makes some really amazing books. I love their books. And let's bring some of this. I want to bring this fleshy tone into some of the space around this tree here. I want to start carving the space around this tree. Let's grab this white with our cerulean blue. We're just going to take this glob of paint and just lay it on here nice and direct. And as we bring that in, start carving this space around. And this is gonna be there's gonna be a lot of open space to just make all sorts of marks when the time is here, which I guess the time is always here to make marks, but I want to first create the spaces to fill the negative space. Just fill this beautiful negative space with some of this wonderful cerulean blue that I got the other day. Just a wonderful cerulean blue color. I love it. I love cerulean blue. I like cerulean blue more than ultramarine. Because cerulean blue, I feel like, ultramarine, I think it'd be used for really dark. It's good for like dark purples and shadows and like, things like that. But I like cerulean blue. I feel like cerulean blue has so many more uses because, it can instantly be used to turn into like an aqua. You can use it for like good negative space, a natural negative space that feels like nature. You can use it for mixing greens to lighten the greens. I love this pastel-y color that we've got going on here on the bottom. Gives depth to my paint. Do I have an idea of which one? Let me see. What is book? I might have that one. Taschen. You have to go paint one of his work. Good books. Do I have an idea of which one? Which what? Oh, you're talking about the Leonardo book. Okay, let's work this area. We're gonna go. I want to grab some mostly like a much more cleaner yellow. And you know what I haven't been using? I haven't been using my oil pastels. What a waste of oil pastels. What's the point of having my oil pastels open if I'm not going to use them? Here we go. We're going to do this. Let's go do some oil pastel work here. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 6:22 p.m.
You know, I might not be able to, so I'm going to paint for another maybe 30, 45 minutes, but I need to make dinner, because I promised that I would cook dinner tonight. So in a few moments, in the next 30, 40 minutes, I may be signing off. But let's go ahead and use some of these oil pastels just to give it a different look. Just to give these different sections like a different look, a different texture. A mix of shapes and design. Alright, let's do this. Let's do another color here. We go right in here with our red. Let's just cover a lot of space with our red here. Let's just go down. Oh, got stuck. Oh no! Ah. Oh, well that's kind of cool. Let it roll down. Maybe I should just leave that up there and call this a part of it. The oil pastel. Allow it to just stick up here. Who would have thought that oil pastel could do the work? An oil pastel could do the work of a roller. Right? It's just, you just think of it as this round object. You don't think of it as a way to actually spread around paint. Can only hope that it doesn't look like a total mess. Here we go. And you know, I am concerned by what happens after this oil paint dries on this oil pastel, and whether that's going to have any effect whatsoever. But who knows? I don't know. And I may never find out. Oh, look at that. What do I do with this? Should I try to put it back, or should I try to use my oil pastel stick to lay down stuff? Hey, good night, Michael. You take care, dude. Get those muted tones in there. So, what an accident we have just made. Oil pastels will be challenged to work with. You know, I would like to do just one painting where the only thing that I use is like oil pastels as a brush. I guess I technically could do that right now, but the lack of original intent makes it a little bit harder. But that's all in my head, right? That's just something I made. That's an idea I made up in my head the original intent. I can't do it because the original intent. But it is true. I wanted to keep the idea of this small painting within this larger, unusual piece. So, with that in mind, this concept of original intent, I feel like that's a law term. Original intent. What was the original intent? The goodwill. Oh, you know where I went wrong? Something I did wrong here is that I didn't remove the paper on this. So I should use a pastel that has no paper on it. I'll be getting off here in like 20 minutes. And the fish should only take like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Plus the rice. Alright, actually no, I should clean off some of these pastels, because otherwise I'm just concerned that the oil paint getting on them is going to make them dry out. You would think that oil pastels with oil, made with oils, are not going to dry out, but you never know. Sometimes you don't know with these things. And when you don't know, you should definitely be prepared for the worst possible situation, right? Okay, so let's get back to this. I'm gonna use, I love this color, by the way, it's a beautiful color. So let's go here. What color would go great? This green's been here, this green, but I want it to be like a yellow. You know, I've got this black. Let's do some work with the black here. Definitely go with some more black along here. Let's go up a couple of black lines just to separate these little spaces right here. Since we can no longer allow the white to be our negative space, we have to allow some of the shadow to do the work, or some of the darker tones to do the work. We're gonna pop right into here, grab this piece. And hey, am I in Discord? Is this sketch? So this is a panel. It's a panel board, whatever you want to call it. It's a panel. But yeah, it's actually a pretty thick panel. This is thicker than some of the other panels I've gotten. I really like this brand. It's called US Art Supply. A lot of other panels I've gotten are a little too really thin, but I think it's because of the size that they made this one a little extra thick. But yeah, this is a panel. It's not a stretched canvas on anything, on wood or anything. But oh yeah, am I on Discord? I think I have a Discord, but I don't use it very often. I have a Discord, but I don't use it. You started using your a little more to post stuff on. Figured you might as well since you started following others. So what would you say? I mean, I'm really like bad with Discord. What would you say is the benefit of having a Discord? Like, why can't we just use Instagram? No, let's just go in a corner, a black in this back corner right here. Just go with some black. Nice layer of black paint. And then you know what we gotta do? We gotta add some white here. Might as well. This seems so separate from one another, where Discord seems a little bit more community and follower oriented. And here's the other thing that I don't like about Discord is that whenever I download Discord, it like takes up so much space on my phone. Like one Discord is probably the equivalent like usage on my phone of like 3 other apps that I need. So I'm on like Twitter, Instagram, Threads, X, Reddit. And if I download Discord, I pretty much have to like delete at least 2 or 3 other apps in order for it to function, including like my technology apps. That's the other reason why I didn't really stick with Discord. I had it, but I guess I was just never able to really take advantage of the benefits of it. But I do get the idea that's like a chat big billboard. Yeah, a big billboard. Well, that's a good point. Is it doing that? Like, I know the power of Discord. I'm not not sold on Discord. But I just haven't figured out, some of the best ways to use it. All right, so here we go. Let's see. This brush still has some black on it. Let's grab some of the rest of this white. And we're just gonna create the opposite. Opposite area here. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 6:41 p.m.
6:41. I think I will have to drop off in a minute here to go make dinner, as I have promised Kathleen. Scared painters don't make painters. There's a quote right there. Scared painters don't make paintings. All right, here we go. Discord incorporates. That's why you want to figure it out, see if something worth using. I also think the big benefit of Discord is, if you're I think for Discord, if you're building the community, especially if you're building the community, it's great. Like if you have a really, really good vision for a community, like say, rather than creating a web forum, like say like a web forum for artists, you're creating a Discord for artists. I think that's pretty neat. I guess that's the biggest thing is, it's the newest way to actually build a community. Yeah, that's a good point. You said that Discord was like a chat room, or what did you compare it to? You compared it to something. You said more community oriented. Yeah, that's right. You said Discord seems, yeah, more like exactly what you're saying. I'm basically repeating what you were saying. Discord is definitely a community, like a coffee shop that people go to or whatever, and Instagram billboard. Have you ever been in a situation where you say something and someone basically repeats like what you said? And I guess we've all been in that situation. If you've been living for more than like 20 years, you've probably been in a situation where you're in a group with somebody and you say something and they basically say the exact same thing you just said, almost with the exact same words. So I think that's what I was doing. But you know what? Like I used to be annoyed at that happening. But I think the older I get, the more the more I like appreciate the value of like how people communicate. I think when that happens, all it means is that somebody subconsciously registered what you were saying as important, but they weren't necessarily totally, their attention wasn't totally trained on you. Therefore, they heard what you said and they agree. And at the same time, then there's the idea thieves who somehow you're in a room with a bunch of people, let's say like at work, and you say one thing and somebody says like basically the exact same idea after, and then everyone claps and like cheers for that idea, even though it's like the exact same thing you said, just worded slightly differently. I find that to be a funny human communication situation. I'm sure we've all been in that situation. But anyway, let's see. Corey, that's why you want to figure it out. You've probably done it many. Feel like they weren't listening, but they were. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is they don't know where it came from. That's the problem, is that sometimes they don't know where it came from, though. And as a speaker, you're like, were you like, can you just? How come you didn't just agree with me when I said that? But anyway, I got some paint on this. Let's go. Let's just use these as random marks here. Random marks. There we go. All right, so I'm actually wrapping up now, so that we can make dinner, or so that I can make dinner. I promised to make dinner this evening. Of course I did. Of course I would promise to do something that I wasn't sure I would actually want to do later. But here we go. I love cooking good food. So those are the narcissists. They get the accolades. Yeah. But you know what is good? You know, I find that when I do that a lot on live stream. Because, like, you know, I'm in and out of the chat, and then I'll read the chat, and, like, an idea pops up that's almost exactly like what someone said in chat. But what's cool is that at least in the chat, I can, like, just go back and see. But, you know, you would never, I guess, in person be like, wait, did somebody just say that? I guess. I mean, I guess I would do that, but I don't know too many people that would say, oh, did I just accidentally repeat what somebody else's idea was? But anywho, got 2 more things to wrap up, 2 more things to cover up before we're done for the night here. Covering up my oils, and then covering up the oils, and then covering up the oils. Get it nice and tight, because every once in a while a kitten likes to knock over this entire easel and spill everything, but because everything is locked tight, nothing spills. Let's call this done. The paint go through? Oh wow, so I did a lot of finger painting, no paint went through to my hands, so very good. And have a good night, dude. Let's make some plans for that idea. I'm gonna look up a couple idea generators, and then hopefully, and you can or whatever. But I'll send you. I'll make sure to do that. And take care, everybody. Thanks for being here. Have a good night.